Hello and welcome to yet another dimension. I am Jeremy, and Andrew's here. Yay. And we didn't just watch. We watched recently.
We just watched 5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago, recently.
So 5 minutes, today, like literally 5 seconds before filming. I don't know what you're talking about.
In the month of August, we watched the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy.
It was still July.
It was?
I think it was still July.
Anyways.
We watched the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. For the first time for both of us in many, many years, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen it since, not even this decade. Even last decade,
wow,
in the 2000s.
That's crazy. Yeah, but it's been a long time for me too. I don't know when the last time I watched all of them was, but it's definitely been a while.
I've seen all the Spider-Man movies except for the newest one, Far From Home.
Far From Home. Yeah.
You've seen all of them, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. If it has the word Spider-Man in it, I've seen it.
Oh, big fan, huh?
I don't even like Spider-Man. Okay. I don't even know who Spider-Man is. Who's Spider Guy? You tell me, because I don't know.
It's the guy with the wings. He's very moody. Parents died. Oh yeah, his parents died. Yeah,
his parents did die.
Yeah,
same person, exactly.
And exactly why we did this, because, you know, as a kids, you're like, oh, it was good. We loved the movies, except for 3. We loved the movies as kids, and we wanted to go back and see if it still holds up.
If it holds up,
because everything is just so meme worthy in this. So many memes. It's all great.
Yeah. So we're just gonna take you on a quick review journey of the old Spider-Man movies.
The magic carpet of Spider-Man.
So starting with the blockbuster that changed superhero movies forever, Spider-Man 1. 2002.
Directed by Sam
Raimi. So, okay, can I talk first about how big this movie was? Like, when I remember as a kid, this being an event. Like, everybody in my...
Like Star Wars.
It was like that. Spider-Man 1 was like, everybody in school went to see it. Everybody. And everybody's talked about it on Monday when we got back at recess, right? It was huge. It was a massive, massive movie. I knew that as a kid. So, obviously, and you know what? As a kid, I'd already liked Spider-Man before this. I already watched the Spider-Man TV show in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, I did too. I liked that a lot.
I love that. I had this game, or we rented it from for N64. So, big Spider-Man fan. Huge Spider-Man fan. Before the movie. So, after the movie, what do you think? You know, like, I was like...
You're gonna go see it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Super 100%. Excited.
And I thought it was like one of the greatest movies of all time. Obviously, as an 8-year-old. So I always thought it was really good. I always thought the first one was just a great origin story. I do think, even still today, watching it, a lot of what the superhero origin movies are now, they take influence from Spider-Man.
Yeah, the blueprint.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue it goes back to Superman, because Superman did this as well.
Yeah,
the original one.
Yeah, Superman was the first major superhero movie, right?
It really was.
Back in the 70s.
It really was.
Christopher Reeves. And then they had Batman in the 80s and 90s.
And that's the thing, is that they didn't really do Batman's origin in the first movie.
They didn't, yeah.
He's already Batman for a while. And I think even, I'm trying to think of, like, movies in the 90s that came out that were superhero movies that had, like, an origin story in them.
The only one I can think of, Spawn, but yeah, it had an origin story, but it's like a different type of movie to me.
Oh, way different.
It's very different. Yeah. And Blade as well, like through like 97, 98, they start releasing like more mature superhero movies. But this is like a big event because Spider-Man is very well known.
Yeah.
And like they had X-Men as well.
Yeah, and X-Men was sort of origin for Wolverine a little bit because he didn't know the X-Men. He was a story. But it wasn't like, oh, this is a superhero getting his powers and growing, which I think after Superman they didn't really do that again until Spider-Man. And I mean, now they do it in like every superhero movie you ever see. It's like the focus. So I think it really set the tone and the precedent for every superhero movie that came after it. Every Marvel movie that came after it, for sure.
There would be no Marvel movies if it wasn't for this, for 100%. The original Spider-Man. So we understand it's important. So does it hold up though?
Does it hold up? So we watched this movie, sat down. And I've seen this movie so many times.
I have to. This is the one I've seen the most.
Yeah, I think it's probably the one most people have seen the most because it came out first, right? So you probably rewatched them before the next ones and that sort of thing.
The tape or the DVD of it.
Yeah,
everybody had that.
So it was huge, and I knew like almost every line, because I've seen it so many times, and I find it pretty cringy at times, but in a good way. I do think that overall the movie is so campy, and you don't realize that as a kid. Because I always think everything is so serious.
Yeah.
Especially like Green Goblin and everything. I was like, oh my god, he's scary, he's so terrifying. Evil,
yeah.
Yeah. But you watch it now and you're like, wow, this is all camp. It's 100% camp.
I guess it makes sense because have you ever seen Evil Dead? The director of Evil Dead, Sam Raimi.
I've seen parts of it, but I've never seen the whole thing. But I know that's the tone. It's very, very
super campy.
Yeah.
And a lot of the influence, I can see it in this.
Me too. Yeah.
But yeah, you say it's campy. I love it. I love the camp.
I still do.
Yeah.
I do. I don't think it holds up as a serious movie.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But if it's not a serious movie, I do think it's great. Mm-hmm. Still, the first one.
It's trying to be funny sometimes, and then it completely fails at other times. But you still love it.
Yeah.
And it spawned one of the greatest, if not the greatest, super villain of all time.
Oh my god. Norman Osborn, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, it is one of the best performances
of all
time. It really is. Like, Willem Dafoe should be like, he should win the Oscar every year just for existing. He's such a good fucking actor.
It's like when actor's been out for a very long time, it's like the appreciation award.
Like I don't know what it's called, but it's usually it's a recognition sort of thing. Yeah.
You should have that because this performance is out of this fucking world.
He elevates this movie, steals the show, every scene. It's just it's so over the top and over dramatic.
Even when he's not being over the top, he's being over the top. I don't get it.
He'll just be screaming at a board meeting or something. But Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin is still, to me, holds up as like one of the best villains ever.
Mm-hmm. It's so memorable.
Yeah.
And so you tell he's having fun, and he actually is trying. I mean, of course, I think that's where they're going for, like a cartoony, crazy.
I really
villain.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. The look of it matches of what's going on.
What do you think of Tobey Maguire's performance the first movie?
Oh man,
I think he was still figuring out acting.
Oh, he was still figuring out acting. Like his agents. Like this seems like this is his first movie.
It does.
Like, was he in something other than this? I think. Oh no, actually, he was in something. The reason why he got the role is because Sam Raimi liked him in another movie. I read something about it.
There was a movie that came around, I think around the same time, like Cider House Rules.
It might have been that. He liked him in that or something else, so he wanted him. I don't know where he learned how to act, or I don't know if it was written in the script to be like just socially completely inept, because sometimes he doesn't really react to people. It's like the first time speaking. Like he's a child in this.
It does feel like that. Yeah.
It just sounds like he's like a fish out of water. Like he just something like wrong with him. And I like it.
You do?
It's something different.
I just don't.
I like, how I said Mission before, how everybody is just like the most witty, charismatic person that has ever lived.
Yeah, that's true.
Every movie, especially the superhero movies.
Yeah.
That's why it's like a change of pace.
It is unrealistic.
Yeah, so I'm like, and that's why I like how in Spider-Man it could be anybody that becomes Spider-Man. It's not going to be like a charismatic, funny, good-looking guy.
But why does he have to be the least charismatic person possible? I don't understand.
I don't know.
He literally is like that's what watches this movie back. I'm just like, wow, I don't even like him. Like, I don't even like him. I would not want to hang out with.
Yeah, you'll probably
Peter Parker at all.
Like, I understand why you're getting bullied.
You kind of do.
Like, is he all the way there?
He's just so dumb. I don't know. I think like Spider-Man before then, I don't remember him ever being socially inept like that.
Yeah.
Even like the show, like he was always like
he's
nerdy. He's a nerdy guy.
Yeah.
And geeky, and he's really dorky, but that doesn't mean he's like
they didn't really showcase that in these movies.
No, they didn't.
Especially in the first one. I guess like a little bit. He knew a little bit about the museum, but everybody, like Anybody can know that.
Once he becomes kind of Spider-Man, he gets a little more into the wit and banter.
Yeah, but it's still like, do you remember any of it? Is it really memorable what he says, really?
It's definitely not as memorable as Green Goblin. He gets outshined.
For sure. That's what I'm saying.
It is, yeah.
He needed to bring more to the performance, I think. I guess because it's the first movie, he's probably adjusting more. Probably. But it doesn't really change throughout the series.
And James Franco.
Change. Oh, he's terrible.
James Franco's performance as Harry Osborn.
He's like a wet napkin.
He really is.
Oh, hey, this is my father.
Spider-Man will pay.
Yeah, hey.
Spider-Man killed my father.
He's so moody. Like what? Throughout the whole entire, I guess it makes sense because he doesn't have a good relationship with his father, but he's not really acting in this movie.
There's no life in the performance at all. And what blows my mind is I just watched Freaks and Geeks like recently for the first time.
And it came out before.
That came out in '99, so he already had a performance where he had a little more. He was good in Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
I don't know what happened. It may just Sam Raimi's direction with that character, but it really didn't work. I mean. It really worked with Willem Dafoe. Maybe it's because Willem Dafoe is the most senior actor in that group.
Oh yeah,
everybody else was really young except for like Aunt May and and then J.K. Simmons, I guess. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, so him, and also Willem Dafoe did make these movies. I mean, well, especially the first one.
Yeah, I recently talked in our Suicide Squad review about how Viola Davis is the perfect casting for Amanda Waller. Same goes for J. Jonah Jameson. There has never been a more perfect casting. I changed my mind about Viola Davis.
I was thinking about that.
There's never been a more perfect casting than J.K. Simmons.
Okay.
As J. Jonah Jameson.
I was thinking of that. I was like, man, you missing one.
He looks exactly like he does in the comics, which I think is hilarious because he doesn't look like a real person. I don't want him to either. I want him to look exactly how he looks because it's hilarious.
Yeah, I like how it matches.
Yeah, his hair, his fucking, he just gets so mad all the time about the he's such an asshole. He's the best character in that movie.
The reason, okay, so it had to be so did he write this? No, somebody else. I think it was called. His name is David Culp or something like that. I don't know. I forgot. It's the guy who wrote the movie, because I feel like those scenes were written by a different person, right?
They were definitely. He had a lot more electric copy. J. Jonah for sure.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
Like the scenes with Spider-Man and Mary Jane. They're like kind of. It's not really good. I don't know.
There's not a lot of chemistry.
There's no chemistry, and you're trying to convince me that they're falling in love.
Could be the writer doesn't understand romance.
Yeah, it's really hard to write romance. So that's why I keep it out. When I write stuff, I try to keep out romance at all costs. Maybe it was a past relationship, but on screen, it's very hard to write. It's really hard for me to be convinced.
I think some people just don't. It's not their thing. Mm-hmm. And when they want to have a romance plot, they just don't know what to do. Yeah. Some people, and that's
but they need to have it though. I guess in Spider-Man.
Yeah, the love interest is kind of a big thing with Spider-Man, and Mary Jane's a big thing with Spider-Man. So I understand why they thought they needed to put it in there, but it's not very well written, those parts.
Yeah. What do you think about her performance in the first movie?
Again, kind of like Toby and James.
I like her more though.
I do think she's got, and you know why? I think that is. Because she had more experience than the rest of them.
Oh, you did.
Because she started out as a child actor in Jumanji and Interview with a Vampire. She's actually pretty good. Interview with a Vampire, she's 11 years old.
See, I've never seen that.
It's a pretty good movie. And she was pretty good in that. So,
yeah, I thought she was okay for it. I still like the new Mary Jane Watson.
Oh, Zendaya?
Yeah.
Oh,
she's great.
Because you know what? She's the kind of girl I'd be attracted to. Nerdy Peter Parker type. Would be attracted to her. Yes.
So I think that makes more sense. But it's
a modern update. Look, Mary Jane, the character itself was kind of outdated. It's kind of like this thing from the 60s where your dream girl next door sort of thing. And they tried to modernize it. So the Spider-Man movie is kind of like a weird...
Stuck in the past a little bit.
Yeah, it's stuck in the past, but it's also trying to be modern. So it's stuck in this weird sort of limbo area. Whereas the new one... He's very much more modern.
They can do more.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it as long as the dialogue is fine.
Yeah,
and it was really fine in this. But this movie, I think it might. So I think this might be the one I want to watch the most when I come back to it. I think I get the most excited for it because it's the funniest, it's the goofiest, and so many memorable scenes. I love the scenes where they're doing the wrestling thing because I like wrestling. It's Macho Man Randy Savage after he does steroids because he did not look like that beforehand. And I really like that scene where he becomes He's like, "What's your name, kid?" He's like,
"The human spider."
It's like, this sucks.
That name sucks.
And he says, like, "That's not my name."
Yeah, he's like, "It's Spider-Man." He's just saying, "It's like he said my name wrong. I'm not going out there."
I said, "Yeah."
That's the moment where I'm like, "Wow, I hate his character." I mean, he's a good character. Like, I'm meant to not like him, but I don't. Yeah. I don't like Toby at all.
I love it because it's so weird. I can't believe he's like that. That's why I like it, because he's so incompetent.
I don't remember him being like
that.
He's
so bad.
He really is.
I love it. He's the main character. He's Spider-Man. Like, the dumb... I feel like he's an idiot.
He kind of is.
So I guess socially he's an idiot. But But they didn't really show him as a genius that much.
Definitely not the first one.
I wish they showed that. And then, like, it made more sense if he, like, socially he's an idiot. Yeah. Some people are like that. It's hard to be... Like, being social is very hard for people. So I understand that. But still, like, I don't... I'm not convinced that somebody loves him like that. Like, Mary Jane, like, oh, she's just dating the most popular guy in the school. Like, it's supposed to be a beautiful woman, and then now you're dating him. Come on, man. He didn't change because he's Spider-Man. You didn't see him as Spider-Man yet. I'm not convinced. But there's a lot of iconic scene. There's an iconic scene with him kissing Mary Jane.
The upside down kiss is...
Yeah, it still hits today.
Yeah, and at the time it was iconic, and super memorable moments of that movie when he first crawls up the wall.
Oh yeah, I love the scenes.
And when he's first getting his powers, all that stuff. I think too, like even the new Shazam movie that came out a couple years ago. I think they borrowed a lot of.
Really?
Yeah, because he's a kid, right? Like, I don't know if you know Shazam. He's essentially a kid who gets powers of like a god and turns into like an adult body. Mm-hmm. So he's like actually a kid in an adult body. So, and he gets these superpowers and everything. So he does kind of the Spider-Man thing. He's like, oh, I'm going to see how high I can jump and that sort of thing. I think they took a lot of cues from that. Because Spider-Man's also... I mean, he's a 30-year-old man, but he's supposed to be a teenager, right? So he's like a kid figuring out his powers.
Man, he does not look like it at all.
No, that's the biggest. Toby, his 5 o'clock shadow and everything, it's so thick.
He looks older than me.
He does. He looks older than you now.
Yeah, it's impossible. He was 25, I think.
Yeah, he was like 25 at the time. And Tom Holland was only like 22, but he looks younger.
He looks younger, yeah.
Yeah, but that is one of the big criticism of this movie is every kid looks like they're at least 27.
Oh my God, the people like the Flash
he's
Johnson, 60 years old.
Joe Manganiello or whatever.
He doesn't look like and also the teacher. Remember the teacher?
The teacher
that was so menacing. He whispered everything.
Oh, you will not talk anymore in this field trip.
I'm like, damn, okay, man. I'm sorry. It was so hilarious. He whispered every threat. Yeah. He was scary, man. He was the first villain. He's the scariest villain in this whole entire
first villain series. Spider-Man overcomes.
The science teacher. It's like, you need to be quiet, okay?
You talk anymore, you'll feel this course.
Yes. It's great. Yeah. Don't knock that. You might want to scrub a little bit. Okay. So, yeah. So, teacher is the best.
Teacher's the villain. Spider-Man 1.
Yeah.
Not Green Goblin.
So, so...
Overall, though...
Look, I just have fun talking about it.
I do. I have fun watching it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it holds up. It does not hold up as a serious movie, but Spider-Man 1 is like a comedy or like a fun time. If you're just going to sit down and have a fun movie. It's very stylish. Mm-hmm. It is. I do love the Sam Raimi superimposed. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just very cinematic. Yeah, it is unique. And his screams, his woman screams.
Yeah, he's obsessed with it. I didn't even really notice that. He has a style. He has a certain way he makes his movies, and you can tell.
Yeah.
It stands out from every other movie. I was watching Amazing Spider-Man. That's just another generic movie.
Yeah. Oh, that one's so
There's
bad.
no style to it. There's nothing to it. You can feel like I don't even know who directed it, but whatever.
Mark Webb.
Who was that?
The only movie I know he did besides Amazing Spider-Man is 500 Days of Summer, which actually had a lot of unique stuff, cinematically. So I don't know. I think it's probably more it was Sony.
I was thinking the same thing, yeah.
Because Sony tried to make a lot of... they tried to make another universe, because it came out around the same time as Marvel. Mm-hmm. So they were like, well, we own Spider-Man characters. Let's make our own universe in Marvel movies. And they tried to make, and they still are to this day, because they're making like Venom, and they're making Spider-Man villain movies without Spider-Man in it. So they're still trying to do that. That's why I don't like Sony. The Spider-Verse movie is good. Just do Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
That's it. Stop trying to make like Morbius a thing. They're even trying to make like a Kraven movie. Yes, Kraven the Hunter, a Spider-Man villain. They're trying to make a solo movie with him. A solo movie.
Just make a Spider-Man movie
with Kraven.
Yeah, we'll get to Venom in a little bit.
Oh, unfortunately. But yeah, Spider-Man 1, though, like, I definitely think it was very stylish. It had its own unique voice. All the movies do. Sam Raimi is a very unique style. Mm-hmm. So watching that, especially watching after so many movies where they don't have style, and my biggest criticism of the new Spider-Man movies, as much as I like them, is they are still very Marvel feel. They don't really have much nuance to them.
Yeah, and I miss that. And especially when a movie is not always connected to a larger universe, it has to look very similar to everything. I don't really like that. That's why I like the Suicide Squad. It's very unique.
Yeah.
So yeah, good time. I think it still holds up.
Very much.
It's not the same movie you probably thought as a kid, but you should definitely watch that movie again. It's funny. It's hilarious.
We had the best time watching these movies, just laughing throughout and enjoying it, I think. So. And
I will watch it again.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't really like rewatching movies right after I've seen it. I would definitely watch it again.
It's a classic. Instant classic. Yeah. All right.
Now, Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
This is your favorite one, right?
It's my favorite one of this trilogy, I think. Yeah. As like a movie, I think story-wise, everything about it, I think it's probably most people's favorite. If they watch it back, they watch the trilogy back, it's probably regarded as the best one. I think it has the best story. The acting also. I feel like everybody got a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
James Franco.
Yeah, a lot better.
And Toby even got a lot better. He still plays that dumbass character, but I think that's what he's genius, I think that's what he's supposed to be.
Yeah, in this movie it makes more sense because it's like those little scenes where he's trying to deliver the pizza and
it's pizza time. He shows up like late, comes out of a laundry closet and puts a bunch of pizza out and goes, "It's pizza time."
He's such a dork. I love it. It's so funny to me. Because they wouldn't do this now, man. He is such a fucking dork.
He really
is. And it's not like he's trying to be a dork. He is one.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
He's living in his own world where he thinks that everyone is okay with him being the way he is. Yeah.
And the extended scene where he's trying to, before that, when he's trying to put the brooms back up. I don't know. It just works. It was funny.
Oh, and there's so many scenes like that in this movie where they just drag it out. So he comes out of a closet, there's a bunch of broomsticks falling. And he's probably putting those back. That's like a 10-second
it's a long
segment.
It's not short at all.
No, at all. And that happens a lot in this movie. I can't remember
the elevator scene.
Oh, the elevator.
Yeah, where the guy goes in when he's dressed as Spider-Man.
He starts to lose his powers, and he has to take the elevator down from the top of a building. And he's just really. They show the whole elevator ride.
It's so awkward,
start to finish.
He's like more a human moment as you described.
Human, yeah. Human moments. That movie is a lot more human, which I did think it was.
I guess more grounded, if you can say that.
Yeah, it is.
Some aspects, the story is more not straightforward, but concrete, makes more sense. And also, I was thinking, what do you think about the villain in this one?
I think the performance isn't very standout at all. I think it's mostly due to the fact that Doc Ock changes.
Doc Ock is the villain.
Is the villain, right? I mean, Norman Osborn did too, but I think that there's always Willem Dafoe is just such a good actor that there's a strong performance even when he's just playing normal Norman, right? Whereas in this one, the normal Doc Ock is just kind of an asshole to me. Mm-hmm. Doesn't really have much that I liked about him. I really don't think as a character on his own, I really liked him that much. But it's not a bad performance by any means by Alfred Molina. I like the idea of these arms taking him over. Yeah. And I like the idea. You like that? I like the idea of something cybernetic, a parasite, like on a person. It's such a good metaphor for stuff. And I do really like that. It's like his own ambition was like personified as the arms.
I didn't think of it that way, yeah.
But
that's cool. Yeah,
I think.
I like how it fused to him. I didn't know that it fused to his skin.
Yeah,
that's gross. I like that.
This movie, there's some parts in it that are just really cringy in terms of like horror. Like it's scary.
You see more of the Evil Dead influence in that one scene where they're trying to take off the surgery scene with him. It looked exactly like Evil Dead.
I was scared of that scene as a kid. Yeah. And even watching it now, it just still unnerves me.
It was. I thought it was great.
Oh, it is really great. It's a great horror scene. It's definitely still terrifying to this day. And it's weird that it's just in the middle of a Spider-Man movie. But, yeah. But that is a great scene. I think overall, it's still the style is still very Sam Raimi.
Mm-hmm. And this Spider-Man, he's trying to, like, he's giving it up in this. So he's trying to play, just be a regular guy, try to get back with Mary Jane.
I mean, at the beginning, he's still very much trying to be Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
And he is trying to get back with Mary Jane. He sees that he's failing and stuff. And it starts to...
Everybody shits on him.
He gets performance anxiety.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Like, he does.
Yeah.
And he can't be Spider-Man. Like, his powers stop working. He can't attach to walls. He can't shoot webs anymore.
I was always confused by that. So that's just, like, unique to this series.
Oh, yeah. I've never heard anything happening like that with Spider-Man. But, yeah, he gets, like, a psychological thing where he can't be Spider-Man anymore. I think it's such an interesting story.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I like this one the most. Is it's the human thing. Again, it's back to that human aspect. He's actually forced to be a literal human again.
Yeah.
So
his powers is like kind of like tied to his mood, his like confidence, like how he's doing inside, and that's cool. I never really thought like, have you ever seen anything like that in any other like superhero thing?
And it's something that you would think could totally be possible because it's physiological, right?
Yeah,
their powers are part of their physical beings, and like people's mental health, it does affect your physical health. Yeah. So I don't know why that's never been explored before, and I don't know why it hasn't since. Yeah. But I like that a lot. Yeah,
they should. Somebody should come on, Disney. I know you're listening. You listen to everything. Do something like that.
They hired Sam Raimi to do Doctor Strange too.
So I'm looking forward to that after watching this. But so that's a very interesting concept, and I really appreciate it as a kid. But now I think about it, it's cool.
It's a very good story. This movie is not very action heavy.
No, it's not.
Which I like.
There's not a lot of Spider-Man doing Spider-Man shit.
No,
in this one,
it's very much more like Spider-Man. It's about the man.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. I actually like superhero movies that are just taking the characters and making a good story out of it and not really focus on like, oh, is there a great action scene every 3 seconds? I think the third one tried to make up for that in a lot of ways. We'll talk about why it failed. But I think the second one overall, and it still has some iconic moments. The train scene is still...
That's the most... I think that's...
most memorable scene.
The most emotional scene in the series, I think.
Yeah.
That, and I guess like the part where in the first one... Like, he's telling her you can't be together. I like that one. Also, well, I mean, none of the third one. Can't think of it.
No, there's nothing.
Yeah, but when he's stopping the train and like they're helping him out and like lifting him up.
What a great scene.
That's a great scene, man.
Yeah, it really is. I think the visual effects are great still. Mm-hmm. The CGI.
Not a lot of use of it.
Yeah,
that's why.
And I think the CGI is limited to things that they couldn't do. It's exactly what they should be doing nowadays, but they don't. Where everything's CG. They're going to CG a city. They're going to CG a building.
Sucks.
There was a lot of practicality in that first one. Even Doc Ock's arms a lot of times look like they were real.
I think so.
I think they must have been in some scenes. And I think they get away with it because you don't always see his full arm in the shot, right? So you can do like somebody on a puppet or something.
Yeah.
I think they probably did that. I'd have to see behind the scenes to see exactly what they did. Yeah. But the visuals, I think, look great. I think. Still to this day.
Also, we can talk about the suit. This is my favorite suit.
Oh, it's
so
great.
Iconic.
It is, yeah.
Even the text they use in this.
I love that.
It's this.
It's the PlayStation font.
PlayStation 3 font. Like, the creator of the PlayStation 3, the first thing he said was, I want the Spider-Man font. That is so weird. I don't know why that's the first thing he thought of. But, hey, I mean, he's kind of a weird guy anyways who made it. But that's how iconic was the Spider-Man font.
Yeah.
So, these are really important movies, I guess. So, and, like, the suit is great. I just like it.
Yeah, it's great. Cool. Yeah. I think overall this movie, just the story is the best one. I think, with Harry, too, it's a lot more... James Franco's performance is a lot better. You really feel the anger there a lot more and the sadness. He's definitely stepped up his game for that second movie.
Oh, I want to talk about this one part. Okay, so in the Spider-Man 2, when he finally tells Aunt May about like, oh, he's like the reason why Uncle Ben died. Like, I was, you think like, oh, in the regular movies, oh, she'll just forgive him. Like, it's okay. But like, she had like a real human moment. Like, she wasn't sure about how she felt about it, so she just walked away. I felt that was realistic.
That's a great scene, yeah.
Yeah, I felt like, because like, just put yourself in that position. You wouldn't know how to feel about that. Like, that was her husband. She obviously loves a lot because she's like a mess about him.
Yeah,
and like, like, you're the reason why he died. Like, I don't know if I can forgive you. So I guess I think I like that scene a lot.
I think all the human moments in this movie worked really well. I think because that's what Sam Raimi was really going for, was I'm gonna make this movie more about the guy behind the superpowers, and I think it worked so well. Yeah,
I read up, he was a big fan of Spider-Man, and that's the reason why he got it, because a lot of people were considered for it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, Spider-Man he was at that time Marvel's biggest character. Oh yeah, 100%.
Everybody in 2000s, after this movie came out, especially, everybody wanted to be Spider-Man as a kid.
Yeah,
backpacks, everything.
Even before the movie came out, like the 90s, he was the biggest. Oh yeah, one.
He was the
X-Men were still pretty big.
X-Men and Spider-Man. But Spider-Man, that's what I thought of.
Exactly.
When I think of Marvel.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of changed. Just Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, which I don't like him as much.
Yeah, the Marvel Studios movies definitely changed which ones were more popular currently. But Spider-Man's
number one.
He's the OG. Yeah. I mean, he's not really the OG, but he, for a long time, was like their flagship character. And when I think of the first Marvel character, it sticks out to me as like Marvel. First thing I thought of was Spider-Man. Always.
Spider-Man, Batman for me.
Right. Yeah. So I can't believe he got that job. Sam Raimi, I know he's a big fan.
That's surprising, yeah.
But think of all the people that contended that were big Spider-Man fans.
James, I don't know, but the other contention was James Cameron, David Fincher, Tim Burton. Yeah, David Fincher for... Tim Burton, I think he would have been interesting. But you said the composer for a lot of the Tim Burton...
Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
Oh, the music. I didn't even mention the music in these movies. Fucking fantastic. And Danny Elfman, I mean, it's Danny Elfman. So I have his name on it. Even movies that he does that are horrible.
Yeah.
His music is great, always.
I was saying yesterday, about like how scores are pretty like generic, but this one is great.
Oh yeah, there's so many iconic melodies and stuff, and yeah, just another great Danny Elfman score.
I always think of when he's first, like from the first one, he's walking up. I always think of that.
Yeah,
that's an iconic scene for me. And it really improves the scene, gives it more life, and just makes it more memorable. Like, music is so important in movies. People overlook it.
They do.
It can make a good movie like great, absolutely fantastic. So just like in the Green Knight, but we're getting off track. I'm sorry. I just like music, really good music and movies scores. But so Spider-Man 2. Anything else? I'm trying to think of.
I think it's the best movie in the series.
Yeah, I think so too.
Keeps the style. The performances are just better. And like I said, I love the human story. I think it's very, very relatable for everybody. And yeah, I think it's the best one.
Also, I think the romance is better in this.
Oh, it is.
Because Mary J. Watson, she is a freaking toxic person in this. She is doing everything it takes to get Spider-Man, to get him. And it's not good, like what she's doing, but it's realistic to me.
Kind of is, yeah.
What she's doing, she's trying to like move on. Also, she's trying to move on. Like, I think maybe some people think like, oh, she's just using the guy. Like,
no, I think she's trying to move forward because Peter doesn't want to be with her.
Yeah, so it's obvious she wants to be with Peter Parker, but she has to move on. And it's relatable. Like, so it just happens. Like,
it does.
You can't do it. And I think she does a good performance in this.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought, honestly, all the performances are really good.
I didn't like how she just left the wedding though. That made me mad. I'll be so pissed if that.
I mean, I'd be pissed if that happened to me.
I think she just should have just like, I was thinking where instead of doing like, oh, she just leaves the wedding dramatically, like Peter Parker would be just like chilling somewhere, and like, oh no, at his house, and she just comes up and she's already there. He's like, oh hey Peter and just.
It's not as dramatic, man. She shows up in her own.
I don't know. That's the only part I didn't really like.
See, I like that.
I don't like it
because it's more impactful, man.
I guess but it's like such a human, like more of a grounded movie in terms of like the human emotions.
Yeah,
I think it fits it better to me. But it is it's still cartoony, I guess.
It is.
It still fits it.
Yeah.
But I still like this movie a lot. It is the best one.
Yeah.
The first one is just like a personal favorite where I like as a fun movie to watch.
And it set the tone.
Yeah.
It really did. But the second one, I think it's like where they really found what the voice of the series was gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
definitely watch the second one.
They threw it all away. Because we are about to talk about Spider-Man 3, 2007. Okay.
Man, this is a huge movie when it came out. I remember watching the movie.
This is okay. So like the first one, I don't remember the second one being as big, but I remember the third one being again. Everybody went to go see this over the weekend and talked about it on Monday. Everybody in 7th grade, everybody was talking about it.
It was the highest grossing movie.
Yeah, because Spider-Man was the first, and it outgrossed Spider-Man. Yeah.
And I don't know if I want to like the story behind it. You know why it's bad? You know Sam Raimi, he shits on this movie all the time.
I don't know about the whole inside story, but I bet there's a couple reasons I can guess why it's bad.
So originally, it wasn't supposed to have Venom in it. Because he didn't know much about Venom. He knew about Spider-Man, and he wanted to focus on Sandman. I know you don't like Sandman as a character.
I don't.
But he wanted to really just focus on Sandman, and of course, they needed James Franco as the Green Goblin. Because they throughout, they're already been building
they've
to
been teasing it, yeah.
Venom was not supposed to be in this movie at all. That's how Sam Raimi wanted it.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, but one of the producers is like, if you really want this movie to hit the home, like you want to do better than ever before, put them in it. So he didn't have control over it, and he said he hated it. He doesn't like this movie at all.
I see.
And I don't blame him. Yeah, this movie's bad.
It feels like, you know what Justice League is? Like the theatrical cut?
Oh, man.
This has similar vibes. It feels like a Frankenstein movie.
Yes.
It feels like a bunch of different movies fighting for attention.
So much going on.
Yeah.
It felt like the longest movie ever, but it's the same length as the other movie.
Yeah, which is insane.
It was tough to get through.
There's too many, and there's so many new characters, and so many of them just don't have a point. Like Gwen Stacy and
Brock.
Eddie Brock, Venom. Yeah, just Venom. So, okay, first off, yeah, I don't like Sandman. I don't even like him in this movie, but I think I don't like him in this movie because I don't like when they renege on, like, a thing that's already been established.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, okay, Uncle Ben was killed by this guy.
Just a random guy, yeah.
There was another guy. I just don't like when they do that. I think that it's something it just undoes. So that's what I was telling you when we watched this. There's a lot of things little things that movies do that they did in this movie that I hated.
A whole bunch of tropes that you absolutely hate.
I hated them. That was one of them. The other one is Amnesia. So Harry finally becomes the Green Goblin in like 5 minutes after 2 movies of build up. In 5 minutes becomes the Green Goblin. Tries to kill Peter. Then hits his head and gets amnesia and forgets it. I hate that. Because amnesia is so fucking uncommon. Do you know anyone who suffered from like amnesia?
I would just think that he would just either die or have brain injury.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't come back. No amnesia. What?
It's just because it's a story device. Because it makes things easier for the writers. But it's such a fucking contrived thing. It never happens.
It's been used so much, too. In games, they do that all the time.
Yeah.
Where like, oh, I don't know where I'm at. So they can introduce the world to the character. Because they already been there.
It's convenient.
It's so much.
I hate it. So that was another thing I just hated about this movie. But yeah, so Sandman, I don't like. I get why they had to have Harry as Goblin as a villain because they've been leading up to it.
Yeah, it'd be stupid if they
didn't have him as the Goblin, then they would have, or just something they would have had to resolve that arc in some way. I don't know how, but they would have had to address that. Sandman, I wish it would just cut him out. I know Sam Raimi sounds like he wanted him.
Yeah, he wanted him.
I've never cared for Sandman as a villain. I don't know a lot about him as a he's like one of the Spider-Man villains I always forget exists because I don't care about him.
Venom is way better.
Venom is way more exciting.
But in this movie, he doesn't feel like he should be in this movie at all, and like you can tell that he wasn't supposed to be.
No,
because it's terrible.
I don't think that it's like he didn't even. It sounds exactly like you were saying. Like he didn't know a lot about Venom.
Yeah, he didn't.
And from what I've seen in Venom movie, like or Venom media, like even the TV show, the video games, before this movie ever came out, Venom was done so much better. Mm-hmm. Like Venom, because they focused on him too. I think if they would have made this movie about the symbiote storyline and Venom getting the symbiote from Peter, which is like how that actually happens in the comics, a lot of it's very comic accurate, right? Like even the church thing, that's where Eddie Brock goes when he gets, but that's more because he's a devout Christian. They don't really talk about that. He's like had nothing in life in this movie. He just goes to church and asks God to kill Peter Parker.
The dumbest thing ever.
The worst,
so contrived.
Worst line.
He just happens
the whole
to be
fucking
there.
movie.
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
Watch out for that. I would not bump that. Just go ahead. Don't bump it.
I'm scared now.
You're good. I'm watching it, but go ahead. It's the worst. It's the worst line.
It really is the worst. And that scene is...
He's a total asshole, and he's going to church now. That he has to go to church and plead to God to kill a man.
I think, too...
What is the purpose of this?
It's really bad. I think, too, what bugs me about this movie is the first two are fairly grounded. Even the campy Green Goblin. I feel like he's a science-based villain... Still very sort of grounded.
I believe it. I believe it can happen.
Exactly. I don't think everything needs to be grounded. It can be crazy, but I'm just saying. This series set the tone for something more grounded. And then it changed tone when it had somebody who literally could turn into sand and shit. So it kind of changed. It's like it doesn't hold its own logic. So I don't really care if something is out of this world. And seems magical or hard to explain. I don't care.
I love that stuff.
I love this, especially with comic book heroes. Like, that's what they should be. But again, they did not set that tone. So it seems like they just shifted the series. Now there's a guy who can turn into sand. There's this guy who's got an alien suit from outer space that just shows up.
Look, man, there's nothing more I love than alien invasions. Like, sneaky alien invasions. You ever heard of the movie The Blob?
I've heard of it. I've yet to watch it.
Out. I mean, it's not really from outer space. It's kind of like different. But I love alien invasions, so I love that stuff. But in this, it just doesn't fit.
No, it doesn't fit at all.
It just comes out of nowhere.
It literally comes out of nowhere. They're in the park, and there's a meteor crashes. It has a symbiote in it.
It's like, what are you doing? And you already have Sandman. You already established that. Of course, he has a fucking daughter. That's sick. I mean, whatever, man. I've seen it in so much. It's just to be expected. I don't care about your daughter. Okay.
To be fair, this was 2007. So it was before a lot of the tropes have been overused.
Yeah, I give it. But and he just turns it to sand. It's like all right, we gotta turn it to sand. Let's go, and then we gotta do this. We gotta introduce Venom. So much going on, and then the fucking the romance in this, they just destroy it. Oh, it's with such so contrived. I hate you. What I hate most is contrived romance, like breakups. Or anything like, oh, we don't agree upon this, let's break up in just the most dumbest ways possible. Yeah. So this guy, Spider-Man, he's such a good guy, man. He's a good guy. He kisses Gwen Stacy. Obviously, his girlfriend is watching.
Yeah, because he was talking to her 5 minutes before he does that.
Yes! And he kisses her right in front of everybody. So... You don't think there's gonna be a problem afterwards? Yeah. And afterwards, he asks to marry, like he wants to get married. I understand maybe they're like he didn't want to be with her, but I don't get that. Yeah. You get that?
No, they tried way too hard to make him like too much in his own world, to where it just didn't make sense. Because he's saying the same, even when he's trying to talk to her about how she got fired from her show, she's like, "Oh, I get it. When I was Spider-Man and all this shit," like he's talking about himself and keeps like trying to like they're showing he doesn't understand empathy, but that just makes me hate him. Yeah. I don't want to hate the main character the movie is supposed to be rooting for.
It doesn't make sense.
You know, like, so I don't know. It is contrived. It's contrived. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. And
then Harry.
And then it gets even worse when Harry regains his memory.
Out of nowhere.
Because he sees what? The mirror? What was it? I don't know. What even triggered it?
Oh, because I don't see, it doesn't make, okay, I guess he has the Green Goblin gas in him. Where the liquid? What is it? Yeah. Whatever. I guess it's like remnants of it, and his dad starts talking to him. I don't know. He gets his memory back somehow. And even before that, he acts like a fucking... Like, I guess you get amnesia, you act like a child. Because he was like a mindless child. Like, he was... Kinda. I didn't like how he's acting.
Oh, I hate when they're bouncing a basketball in the hall.
Yeah, let's play some basketball. It's so goofy.
They tried to do that. Have you ever seen Amazing Spider-Man 2, right? Like,
yeah.
They tried to do the same thing where they're making them old buddies and like it doesn't work. Like
so bad.
Yeah, it really is.
That part's so like, and they're doing. Isn't this the movie where they do the twist, dancing, Mary Jane and
yes, what's his name? And Harry.
Harry, yeah. Cooking
in the kitchen,
doing the twist. Oh man. It's so cringy. We haven't even finished the cringy parts. What else did you want to say before this? There's so much bad stuff in this.
I don't know. No, we just keep going with the cringe because it's this whole movie. So that's bad. He regains his memory, forces them to break up. His evil plan. His dad is talking to him and tells him, first we attack his heart. So he makes Mary Jane break up with him. That's his evil plan, is to make them break up. I've never seen a superhero movie where the villain's method of killing somebody was making somebody break up with them. That's kind of hilarious, I think.
I love it. And then he's eating the pie. He's like, that scene, like...
I hated it. I hated that whole scene.
So bad.
There's just
what
too
were
much.
They thinking?
I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
Why wouldn't you try to kill her?
I don't know. When I watched that movie over, that's the worst part of it to me. It's like an hour and a half in, and I just want the movie to be over right there, and there's still like 40 more minutes to go.
We didn't even get to the good part yet.
Yeah, because Venom doesn't even exist yet. Venom doesn't exist till like the last half hour of the movie.
And he's one of the most iconic Spider-Man villains of all time.
And Eddie Brock barely exists. All he is like an asshole who wants to take Peter's spot.
He's like introduced like briefly, like, oh, I'm dating your daughter.
Yeah,
to the
cop. Yeah,
so dumb.
It's really dumb. It's really really dumb. And Topher Grace cast as Venom.
Oh man,
like
that's what you think of? I think of Topher Grace.
I can't.
I guess he was bigger back then. Was he?
He was bigger. I mean, that 70s show was really popular.
I mean, but yeah, he left that, I guess, to do movies. But yeah. But him
as like Venom, as Eddie Brock, you don't know anything about Eddie Brock. It doesn't seem like, like Tom Hardy cast as Eddie Brock.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I love that casting. And I don't like the Venom movie, but I liked him as Venom. I thought he was a good Eddie Brock and a good Venom.
When he's like Venom and he like separates and you see his face.
Like,
I like being bad. Like
he's got the teeth.
Yes.
It's just CGI nightmare and just cringy dialogue. It's really really bad.
The whole entire last scene is just terrible.
Oh, it's absolutely dreadful.
Let's talk about the first action scene. How terrible it looks. I think it could have been good.
Oh my god!
But the CG is amateur level. When he's like going really through the alleyway.
It's Spider-Man and Green Goblin, the second Green Goblin, fighting the first time when he gets amnesia. So they're like it's a long sequence too. Yeah. I think it's cool that he's got the wedding ring, the engagement ring, and he's about to lose it, and it adds like a stake to this fight. Makes it a little different. I like that.
It just looks bad.
No, but it looks visually atrocious, like absolutely atrocious.
It doesn't age well at all. And I remember back in the day when I first seen it, it would look bad to me. I remember that vividly. And I was like, this doesn't look good at all.
Yeah.
In 2007.
But now
it's even worse.
Now with like really good HD TVs and we're seeing all the it's really
green
bad.
Screen, yeah.
I don't remember ever that looking that bad to me. I think I always just watched it. I watched it once in the theaters and probably a couple times on the TV, but it never looked that awful. And it is God, it looks like a PS1 game.
So bad, yes.
It's really really bad. That I think there's too many fight scenes, if I'm gonna be honest. I think it's because they had to have a fight scene with every villain. I don't know if all of them hold up as well. There's some moments I thought were kind of cool, like when he's fighting Sandman. He has a symbiote, and he holds his face to the train, and like grains of sand are coming off. Yeah. I think it's a cool little detail.
And he just kills him afterwards.
I hate how he kills him. I hate how he thinks he kills Sandman by turning him into mud.
Why would that kill him?
That's literally how he flushes him down a drain pipe by making him wet. It's such a. What does Sandman do when it rains?
I know, that's what I'm thinking. And why does he still have a shirt?
You stole my umbrella, you killed me. Yeah. Why? Look, I get his iconic shirt. That's his iconic comic book shirt.
Okay, I guess that makes sense for that. They have to keep that.
But it looks so stupid. He turns into sand. It doesn't make any sense. He's like, sometimes he's all sandy, and then sometimes he's got the shirt on. It looks like a normal human. Yeah. Can he just make himself look like anybody?
I guess I'm being nitpicky. But wouldn't he be able to like transform into anything?
That's what I'm saying.
If he can make himself be sand all the time,
right?
So because people are looking for you, right?
Right.
Just don't look like how you look.
Yeah, why would you look exactly the way you look? It doesn't make any sense.
And why is there a freaking truck full of fucking sand? Have you ever seen a sand truck? They're transporting sand. I don't know if that's a thing.
In New York City, for all the sand needs that they have in New York City.
So fucking ridiculous. This whole movie is just one contrivance like after another.
It really
is so contrived.
It really is.
I hate that
every scene. That thing is why I hated it. And the last big contrivance that really pisses me off is at the very end of the movie when Venom has captured Mary Jane, and they don't explain in the movie how Venom knows who Mary Jane is. It does make sense in the comics because Venom knows everything about. They kind of briefly say, "I know all about you."
See, I don't know about that. They didn't explain it at all.
It'll really piss poor job explain. I know it because I know Venom.
Yeah, you know.
But he like when he gets the symbiote suit, the symbiote knows everything Peter knows, and it tells Venom. Mm-hmm. That's like one of the cool things about Venom is that he knows everything about Peter that he knew when he had the symbiote.
I wish I knew that. I wish that was clear. And obviously Sam Raimi didn't know that because he's in the same position as me because I don't know much about Venom.
But that is a really cool thing. And also, they do show it in the movie, but they don't really acknowledge it. But Venom comes out of nowhere and hits Spider-Man. His spider sense doesn't go off. That's another thing, that Venom's the symbiote, it ruins his spider sense. So he can never sense Venom. Yeah.
That's cool.
It is a cool thing. Again, you don't really know it.
This so bad.
Yeah, they even talk about in this game.
It's irresponsible. In this game,
that's why I remember it, because like your spider
sense, 99, yeah,
like you, it's not activated by Venom. That's just a cool little thing, and those things are present in Spider-Man 3, but it's just like they don't really acknowledge it. So the casual viewer doesn't get it.
Oh, I had no idea.
Has no idea.
Yeah,
you know. So I think that it's a big oversight. Aside from that, just the last scene is so fucking horrible. Like, they capture Mary Jane because, of course, the woman in distress.
And also,
it's only been done in 2 movies beforehand.
Yeah, that's like a big criticism. Like, they just did the same thing.
They literally did the same thing.
Yeah, whatever. I'll get over it. But this movie the whole entire movie is freaking terrible.
Worst part of the whole movie, to me, worse than the amnesia, is when the butler.
Oh,
Harry Osborn's butler!
What
comes out of nowhere?
This guy was barely introduced in the second one, right?
Yeah, and maybe in the first one. I don't remember him at all. He's literally not in the movies at all. Larry was like, "Your father, I was there the night he died, and I didn't tell you, but you know what? He killed himself. It was his glider. I knew it was glider. I knew he was the Green Goblin."
So I've been plotting, trying to kill Spider-Man this whole time.
I know.
You knew?
He didn't say anything.
You're fired. I'm killing you first, you asshole. What do you got, dementia? Like, what is going on?
He didn't say anything until the right time. Until Spider-Man is captured. I don't...
Contrived. This is the dumbest movie ever.
It makes absolutely no sense. And then Sandman's like, "I'm sorry, killing your uncle was an accident," because that needed to be in this movie. Sandman killed Uncle Ben accidentally.
This movie should have never been made.
No, it really shouldn't have.
Because Sandman, his motivation, the reason why he's there, is stupid. Venom shouldn't have been there at all. I guess the Green Goblin. I guess it makes sense for him to, but then he has amnesia throughout the whole entire movie mostly.
And then when he doesn't, he's plotting to break them up. Everything about this evil way possible is horrible. We even talked about the dancing.
That's the part I wanted to say for last. So the most memeable part of this movie is still hilarious. It was hilarious back then. I was
cracking up,
and it's hilarious today. This guy, so he's the bad guy now. He's emo. I guess that's like a bad guy now. He puts his hair down. He wears eyeliner. You never see him put eyeliner on, but he definitely has eyeliner on.
Yeah, he definitely does.
He gets the black suit.
He looks like he's a member of Fall Out Boy. He looks like Pete Wentz. He looks like Pete Wentz.
Yeah. So the look of that time. And he doesn't. Tobey Maguire, like, he doesn't change at all. He's still a freaking nerd, goofball, idiot.
Really is.
I guess they're trying to like.
But you know what? Let's say you have this socially inept nerd who gets more power and it becomes bad. What's the bad version of a super dorky guy? I guess it's this, right?
I guess it makes sense. So I guess
in a weird way, it's the thing about this movie that makes the most sense, and that's why it makes me so mad.
Because it's supposed to be bad.
This made the most sense.
It did because well, so I don't agree with like the girls liking him.
No, and when the girls start to like, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? That makes more sense. That makes
so if he didn't get like any girls interested in him, I think I would like it even more.
Yeah,
but like no girl will like that.
No,
okay?
No,
he comes out dancing. He's like, oh. Well, it's hilarious though. It's the greatest. It's the best part of the movie. Easily.
Oh, I love when they there's a part of Spider-Verse where they make fun of it. They show that.
Do they really?
Yeah, they show a little clip of it. It's like, I did this dancing scene. It was real embarrassing or something. They do an inside joke about it, but yeah, it's the most meme scene ever since, and for good reason. It's still absolutely hilarious.
I cannot believe they wrote that. I can't believe it.
Oh my god, what is it? It's like.
And the scene where he's in the fucking jazz club.
Oh, it's the
greatest movie scene of all time. I remember seeing that. I'm like, I can't believe what I'm watching here.
I feel so uneasy. I feel uneasy watching it to this day. Watching it like last week, I was just like, just end this scene, please. Just end everything.
If I was Gwen Stacy, I would have walked out.
Oh, it's
as
so
soon as he started dancing.
It's so embarrassing. And how does he just play piano?
I know.
They established he can shred on piano.
So he plays piano. He's a master suit maker. I don't know what else he did.
He drew the suit. Did he sew
artist?
It? What is it made out of?
He's a science genius. Never established that whatsoever. I forgot to mention that. So it's just like whatever. I'd go with
just
it.
Accept at this point. He can do anything.
But he can barely talk.
But he can't form a meaningful relationship with any person.
No.
Yeah.
So I was just frustrated. I thought it was gonna be a fun movie, at least to laugh at. It was just a frustrating movie.
I mean, it is the parts that are fun. Like the dancing is funny.
Yeah, but that's like overall, the last part of the movie.
Overall, it's very hard to watch.
Don't watch that. Like watch it for certain scenes.
You know what it reminds me of? The last season of Game of Thrones.
Oh man,
I have the same feeling of just empty.
Yeah.
That's what I feel watching that
gross,
movie.
Man, I felt like ugh.
It is. It's just like this train wreck that keeps getting worse and worse.
Let's get it over. Let's just get this over.
Yeah, when you want something to be over, that's a really, really bad sign.
And I think it makes sense because he didn't want to do this movie.
Yeah,
and it was supposed to be a fourth one.
I know.
And they just I forgot. Damn, what's the story behind that? I think he didn't have control of what was going on, so he's like, also, he was tired of Spider-Man. I read up on it. He was just tired because he was doing it for almost 10 years.
Yeah, and after such a bad movie, I mean, that would take it out of me. I wouldn't want to do it.
He wanted to make it up to the fans because I know that they knew they were disappointed of it because nobody likes this movie.
No,
people try to defend it sometimes. It's like, it's not as bad, but it's bad.
I mean, I remember in 7th grade, I didn't think it was as bad as it is.
Yeah,
because I was a 7th grader.
Yeah,
but at the time, I was mostly looking for fights anyway, which this movie had a lot of them.
Yeah, I think probably the most.
But even then, I knew the story was bad. I hated the part with Harry completely. I hated Sandman completely. And now I hate Venom. I always just wanted Venom, so I didn't really care. I was like, whatever you have to do to get Venom in a movie, you do it. Because as a 7th grader, that was all I needed. But
if you want an example of a bad movie, just watch this once. It's like, just do not everything that's in this movie, never do in the movie. Like, if you're writing a movie, you want a bad example, good example of
bad storytelling 101.
Yeah, so bad. Just watch the scenes where he's like emo Spider-Man.
It does funny. It's cringy and you want it to stop.
And I can't believe they actually filmed that and put it out in a major movie
can't
theater.
either.
Millions of people seen that.
Jazz Club scene especially.
God,
I can't believe that was like a blockbuster movie. It's unbelievable.
The biggest movie of the year, maybe, I think.
Oh, for sure.
2007. Yeah, all Transformers came out.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's even worse. But also, I forgot to mention Bruce Campbell is in every movie.
Oh, Bruce Campbell, and you know
Evil
what?
Dead.
And it's always a small role, and it's always the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah. It's great in it.
The first one, he's the wrestler announcer who gets his name wrong, and says, "Oh, that name sucks." Second one, he's this total asshole, a theater attendant who doesn't let him in every show, and he's like, "See the sign right here." I love that scene. And then the third one, it's probably his best one, where he's
more extended.
Yeah, he's like the waiter at a restaurant. He's helping him get the proposal with Mary Jane, and he's talking French like Peter Pecker.
Peter Pecker.
That's still great. That's the best part of that movie.
Yeah,
and being honest, that part I don't even like that scene either, because the scene I hate the way the romance is in that scene. It's just so empty and tired.
Ugh, yeah.
Like I want them to break up.
Yeah, man. At that point, be done with it.
She looks like she's so exhausted.
Yeah. I wonder if she probably was.
I just want to give her a hug. That whole movie, I just want to give Mary Jane a hug. She looks. Her. She's not getting any love from anybody.
Like she's in love with a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Douchebag.
Total oblivious. So, yeah. Overall, what would you rate each movie? So I'd say the first one, probably 6.5 out of 10 for me. I think what's good about it still holds up, and as like a sort of like not serious campy movie, it works really well, and it's iconic. And I think because it's so iconic, I'd still give it like a 6.5. There's a lot of things that don't work for me.
I'll give it a 7. I like it. I think I like it a little bit more than you.
Yeah.
I don't take it as serious. I guess Spider-Man as serious as you. And as a movie, it still works for me because it's just so entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't like if the movie doesn't have to be like good, a good movie, as long as it's really like entertaining.
It is.
And like the performances are out of this world. Willem Dafoe. Yeah, so 7, solid, maybe even 7.5. I like it. It just depends on how much I drank that day. Also,
that would influence. And number 2 out of 10. What's your rating?
8.5, maybe even a 9.
I was gonna say 8.
I really like that movie.
He's higher than I am.
I really like that movie. It's a good movie.
It is a really good movie. Spider-Man 2.
Now I think about it, yeah,
still a very, very good movie. And then, what would you rank Spider-Man 3 out of 10?
Dancing is at least 2 points.
Right, it does.
For
the memeability.
The emo.
Yeah.
I'll give it like a 3.
I was gonna say a 3.5.
Something like that.
Because there are some things that I think it could have been a better movie.
Uh-huh.
I think that's what really kills me is that if they would have just picked a direction, there was potential for this to be an okay movie. Just a lot of poor decisions, one after another.
The blueprint's there.
Yeah.
Just they fucked it up.
Honestly, maybe they should have just had Harry as Green Goblin. Maybe they thought, I don't want to do another Green Goblin movie. Yeah. Which I understand, because he's got so many good villains. Try a new villain. Okay, but why Sandman?
It should...
If they would have made it, you know what I really want? And this is still the movie. We have not got it. Is I want Spider-Man having the symbiote, it going to Venom. And we're not going to get that movie. Because now they've made the Venom movie, where Venom's already got it without Spider-Man. Right? So Eddie Brock's already Venom without Spider-Man. If they cross over with Tom Holland, how are they going to... They can't
Can they do that? Are they... Is it cool to do that?
No.
I'm so confused by that.
It's not. But it is. So here's the thing.
Appreciate it.
Here's what I don't understand. Sony has been hinting that they're going to try to merge those universes. I don't know how. It might have to do something with the fact that like they're making No Way Home. Do you know that that's rumored to be like bring back like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and some of the villains too, like a multiversal.
That'd be cool to see.
It would be cool to see. I think it's almost the world's worst kept secret that it's going to happen. So if that is true, if we do get that amazing, crazy live-action Spider-Verse movie...
Can't imagine it.
I would love it. I don't know if that would maybe cause some of the universe merging that would allow for Venom to be in the MCU. The thing is, what's weird is that... So, Michael Keaton's Vulture, right? From Homecoming?
Yeah.
There's a Spider-Man... Like I said, they're making all these Spider-Man villain movies. They're making a Morbius movie. Do you know who Morbius is?
No.
See, why are they even giving Morbius his own movie? I don't understand.
I never heard of that.
He's a vampire. He actually crosses paths with Blade a lot.
Really?
Yeah. He's a vampire, He's kind of like an anti-hero. So he has to be a vampire, but he doesn't really want to hurt people.
Maybe he's in the movies. So it was 3 Blade movies.
He's in Spider-Man 3, the game, but I don't think he's in any of the Blade movies. I don't know if at the time, because the rights were probably still with Spider-Man, because he's a Spider-Man villain. But since Marvel Comics, they overlap, it doesn't matter, right? So, they're making a Morbius movie, right? For some reason. I don't know why they think that's a good idea, with Jared Leto, anyway, that's coming out next year. It's already filmed. There's a trailer.
He's in everything now.
I'm not happy about it, but anyway, they had a trailer come out that had Michael Keaton's Vulture in it. Why it's weird is because Michael Keaton's Vulture is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's part of the Marvel Spider-Man movies. So which universe?
I'm so confused. Just you talking about this, I have no idea.
Everyone's confused. I'm fucking confused. I don't even think the people at Sony know what the fuck's going on anymore.
No, they just wanted Spider-Man money. That's like Spider-Man's.
That's why That's why I didn't even want Spider-Verse to be good, because I didn't want Sony, their money-hungry bitches, who ruined Spider-Man twice. Yeah. Once with Spider-Man 3, and then again with the Amazing Spider-Man series. I did not want them to be able to do anything successful, but I had to say, Spider-Verse is probably the best Spider-Man movie. I hate to say it. I wish Marvel Studios made it. It is. Fuck them.
It just and also they have these games. So
the games are great. Spider-Man games are great.
Yeah, so that's what I think of. I think they should just let it go.
The movies?
Yeah. Well, live action. I wish they would, but they're obviously people are gonna go see it.
They're making a Morbius movie, and now they're developing a Kraven the Hunter movie. All these movies without Spider-Man is absurd. I'm sorry. As a fan of Spider-Man, I don't. Venom, maybe. Venom is maybe the one Spider-Man villain where I think, okay, he's got a whole comic story that's very independent now. But still, I wish they would have had a Venom versus Spider-Man movie.
That would have been so cool.
That is good.
That's good. I mean,
why is it so hard to ask for? I don't understand.
Hopefully, they restart it one day, years from now, and they just do it.
I hope so too. Same with Justice League. I hope they do like a Batman Superman movie that's good, because we still haven't gotten that. So, but I'm done waiting for it now. It's clearly in the superhero movies. There's too many of them.
There's so much. There's more coming out this year.
I like the idea that they explore different stuff, like with Loki and WandaVision and stuff, and they're trying different tones, and maybe that's where they should stick to. But
we should stick to Spider-Man right now.
I'm just saying, because this is all related, because it's the future of Spider-Man.
It is,
and this, you know what? This is what started that Spider-Man movie, the first one. It started all this. Oh yeah, there would be no Iron Man
chain reaction
without it. So 100% this series influenced everything.
Very important.
I don't know what they're doing with the movies anymore. I don't think we're gonna get a good Spider-Man versus Venom movie, but I hope we do. I really think that's something.
That's what I want the most.
If there's anything that Spider-Man 3 left me wanting, that's what it is, for sure.
Yeah. So. Watch the first two. They hold up, definitely.
I mean, watch the third one at your own expense.
Man, you got time. Have a drink. You might want to kill yourself.
Have afterwards. A drink. Get high.
Yeah, so anything you need to do.
Do whatever you need to do to make that movie bearable.
It's a bad movie. I thought it was going to be fun, but it wasn't. It was frustrating.
There's some scenes that are fun. The dancing scene's fun. And
so far into the movie.
Yeah, the rest of the 2 hours
You got to work. So, yeah. It's one of the most, if not the most important superhero movie.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it might be, when I think of what quintessential superhero movie, besides maybe the Avengers, which I think is more because they brought everybody together and made a shared universe. That's iconic because of that. But Spider-Man,
I don't think it would be that without Spider-Man.
It wouldn't. Yeah. And that's why, so I definitely... I think Spider-Man might be the most influential. Spider-Man 2002 might be the most influential superhero movie of all time. I think, even more than like the first Superman movie, which was like the first.
That's forgotten.
It kind of is,
and it's not even the same like how they made the movies back then.
Yeah. So I definitely think it's the most influential.
So that was our review of the Spider-Man movies, the original Sam Raimi trilogy.
I'm tired.
I'm tired too. I've done a lot of stuff today.
Long day.
Long day. So, Spider-Man's cool. And I
want to go play the game right now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next one and whatever they do. And I'll see you guys in the next dimension. Peace.